Welcome to the Real Pundits Podcast, and I'm Brandon.
And this is Alex.
And we're back again to finish up a discussion about Infinity War.
Yes, we went through and got done recording last week, and it's straight, literally, beating down the streets to get to watch.
That theater was packed. We had to sit all the way in the back right corner.
Yeah, the top row, there was almost nothing to really...
I almost had a guy sitting right next to me until he realized the wall was in between him and the
Yeah, I
screen.
know. That's why I was like, this is not going to work out well. But let's keep to our normal run of this whole thing. So, you see anything this week?
I saw two things this week.
Okay, what you see?
Do you want the good or the bad?
Oh, I like my sugar at the end, so go ahead.
All right, so the bad. I was so excited first thing this morning. I wake up, I get on Facebook, and sure enough, I see a trailer.
Okay.
That trailer's for Beetlejuice 2. I watch it.
I saw that.
It was amazing looking, and then I scroll down a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then I see a poster for Beetlejuice 2. So I jump on IMDb. Turns out it's fan-made.
Yeah, but it was one of the best fan-made trailers I've seen in a long time. What threw me off at the very beginning was the old school Warner Brothers logo. That's what I was like, something about that doesn't seem right, because it's...
I wasn't even paying attention to that. My excitement for the concept of Tim Burton and
doing a sequel?
A sequel to something. Tim Burton has never done a sequel. I think, though, if you look at Tim Burton's work, and we'll have to actually get into depth
break him down a little bit.
Not on this podcast, obviously, because there's so much to talk about with Infinity Wars. But the Tim Burton, if you watch his work, he's a perfectionist.
Yeah, and that's the reason
probably why he can't do a sequel.
That's the rumor on the interwebs, is the fact that he is. It's not that the actors don't want to be in. When a writer's like, "Hey, I want in." If Michael wants in, Michael's like, "Hey, if one of them wants in, I want in." Everybody seems to be on board for it.
And you can employ a Baldwin because they're not working.
And the fact of it's not about money. I think Hollywood already knows. The moment that he shows up with the, "Hey, I'm done with it. I'm ready to do it," they're just going to throw money at this as the next big sequel. The problem is Tim Burton is a perfectionist, and he won't budge until it is perfect.
Yep.
So that kills that.
Man.
Anyway, so what's the good? What was the good?
The good, man. You actually just turned me on to something. Robin Hood, 2018.
See, I may have turned you on to it, but I'm not sold on it yet. Just because you have a couple of good stars in it, the action is so over the top. Not that I'm against over the top. Insert all the other movies I ever love, over the top action films.
Here's how British films are going to go over the top. You want to know how I know that?
Oh, why?
The success of Kingsman.
True.
So now British action films are going to mirror that. Now, what you've taken is another one of my favorite mythoses and put it out this year. They did it to me last year.
Every year they're going to try to get you.
Which was, King Arthur. Where I've already complained about it.
You may have complained about it, but watching that trailer, did you not see...
I saw some Guy Ritchie influence, but I saw the same thing in Kingsman.
True.
The action scenes look very Guy Ritchie-esque.
But this one seems like it's so close. I guess with them being so close, it seems like, okay, now you just replaced a sword with a bow, and...
Hopefully it's not some mystical weirdness. Though I did see something, because after I watched the trailer, I went to IMDb.
Right.
So the guy that plays Eggsy in Kingsman,
mm-hmm.
I forget the actor's name. I literally just read it, and it's already escaped me. But he's playing Robin Hood.
Yes.
There is one name not mentioned.
Yes.
And that is Prince John.
Yeah. But the way they're twisting this...
It looks like Prince John is Robin Hood.
Yeah, and he's robbing his own self.
Which is really weird.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting way of doing the story. I'm just not... We're going to do another Robin Hood film.
I mean, it's got to be better than the Russell Crowe version, which I didn't mind.
And then you have Men in Tights.
Which was great.
And then you have Kevin Costner's. And then there was one before that in the black and white era days. Yeah. So,
but at least it's not... If you look at the Dracula films made, how many Dracula films have been made? A lot more than you could ever make in Robin Hood.
True. But, I mean, after a certain point... Oh, wasn't there a Disney Robin Hood also?
Yeah,
with
the cartoon
Fox
with
or
the
something?
Fox. Yeah. Which was surprisingly my favorite of the Robin Hood movies. But I was a kid when it came out, so.
So I'm still on the fence on this one. I'm going to wait and see exactly. Give me a little bit more, and then maybe I'll decide on what I feel on
Whoa.
it.
Do you know what I just realized?
Huh.
For this one subject, we've switched roles.
Yeah, you got to sell me on it.
I can't. The movie is either going to sell you or it's not. See, this is the problem with taking a gamble like this. Just like when King Arthur was, when I saw the trailers for that, most people I talked to were like, meh, it's King
amped.
Arthur. I was amped because it's King Arthur. You have to love the genre.
I was amped because this guy Richie doing sword and
See,
board.
that's what made me skeptical. I was like, this guy, he's not going to do it. But anything you've seen?
Actually, this week, minus of course, the Robin Hood. My other one is watching trailers. We talked about trailers beforehand, and just going through and trying to find some of the best trailers. We're not going to get into it deep, but one of my biggest fans, my mother, brought up a trailer that I thought was perfect. But then we started talking about other trailers and realized it's all from one person. So first off, the Color Purple trailer.
Why? That's twice in one day that has been brought up.
Maybe
The Color Purple.
All right, I'm gonna have to quote the movie. God's maybe trying to tell you something. I can make it into a song for you if you want to go through and go.
One of my employees was dressed like that woman from Color Purple with the hat.
Okay.
And then two of my employees were talking about
the
fact that she was dressed like somebody from Color Purple.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Have you seen that movie?" I gave them a stupid look. They're like, "Yeah, he's seen it." And then they pointed it out to me, and I could no longer look at that employee.
Well, here's the thing. The point of bringing it up is it was a trailer that showed you the characters, a little bit about the story, just enough to whet the palate of this is something that's going to happen. But it's not like the way trailers are being done now, where you see almost everything or all the stuff that was on the cutting room floor.
We had an idea when we first started this podcast.
Right.
Well, before we started it, we had this conversation about having an episode where we covered the art of the trailer.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Let's make that next week's, because I would really love to break down like what makes a good trailer versus a bad trailer. I'll bring up a list of like my favorite trailers.
I'm game because I'm already talking about it because this led into the next trailer I brought up was E.T. Or I think she brought it up. But either way, we brought up E.T., Close Encounters. We started realizing we're following a trend. One of the best trailer makers, Spielberg.
I mean, you can't argue it.
I know that's the problem. That's where you go. That's not even a
well. There's
debatable.
there's actually one of the best trailers I've ever seen was for the Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Okay, that was a good trailer too.
Yeah, that was one of the. I mean, for modern era, I'm talking 90s and above.
Okay,
it's one of the best trailers I've seen.
There are probably a couple more, but let's dig into it. That's definitely next week. Next week,
whole topic on the art.
Thanks,
of the trailer.
Mom. You just made next week's episode. It's going to be
Mrs. Allen.
It is going to be trailers. So, all right. So we've talked about this week. There's nothing else I've really.
I'm just itching to get on. This
you're really to jump onto it. Okay. So,
for those of you that follow me on Twitter,
oh boy, here it comes.
You know that I was not impressed by this film in my initial reaction.
You threw down no, not impressed. You threw out some straight up hate.
I was walking out of the theaters. I was cursing under my breath. I was not thrilled by it, but the more I mulled it over.
So it's one of those movies you have to sit there. And
I had to sit there and mull it over to really sell myself on it.
Okay, so can we go through our normal?
Yeah, let's go through our normal movie. Obviously, this just came out 7 days ago.
Yeah.
So I don't have to talk about what year it was made.
What year? It was
2018.
Hey, you never know. We could have like a backlog.
So the estimated budget on this movie.
Oh, the estimated budget,
making it the most expensive.
Now
Marvel film, actually probably the most expensive film ever made.
Is this based off of the combined efforts of the next movie also being thrown in there? Because I know at one time that was an issue of what they were doing. It was supposed to be two movies.
I still don't have an answer. I still don't have an answer to that, but it's at this point $321.2 million. Wow. That's before marketing and promotion.
That's a lot of CG work, a lot of green screen.
That is the actor's salary.
Oh, that was just actors.
Look at the actors. They had to pay all the actors they've been paying big bucks, all for one film.
So yeah,
and get Josh Brolin.
Yeah,
which I will hold on to that name for a second because I'm.
Josh Brolin killing it this year in the world of comic
book
movies.
Holy crap! Hold on, I'm going to get to that in a minute.
All right. So what are the other numbers looking like so far?
Opening weekend, just U.S.
Okay, I'm ready to be wowed.
257,698,183. That's
That's a big chunk of change.
That is almost their whole budget on opening weekend in the U.S. Gross U.S. as of May 1st. $305,864,408. And worldwide gross as of May 1st. Are you ready for this?
Hit me up.
$808,364,408. I believe this has broken box office records, sir.
Yeah, that's definitely breaking box office records. Now, of course, me being on the web, I've seen a lot of different things. People talking about, oh, it broke Black Panther. Come on. This movie was supposed to break everything.
It broke Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Right.
There's that meme that was going around with Rey handing a lightsaber off to Tony's, like Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
And kind of like a passing the baton, like, all right, you did it.
Yeah.
And I will tell you something. Before I'm going to talk about my positives with this film before I get into my hate.
Are you okay?
I am. It earned every penny. It deserves every penny it earned. Now,
okay.
Before we get into it, let's get into the scores here.
One.
Metacritic, 68%. A little harsh on most films.
Yeah, but more realistic.
Users an 8.5 though.
Okay.
Which is pretty good for user. The critics were a little harsh. The
critics have a reason to be harsh.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Critics score 84%. Audience 92%.
The audience was really feeling this movie. For the audience,
there were people crying in the theater.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going to let you get a little bit further before I turn into you and start doing my whole. There's definitely going to be some hardcore nerd tears. Like that shirt's probably going to get made based off of off of just this movie alone.
So let me talk about my positives.
Yeah, let's hear your positives. I would love to hear your positives.
The dialogue for me.
Okay,
I love the exchange between the some of the comedy bits. I mean, I laughed.
Yeah,
and I don't normally laugh in a lot of movies. There was some really good banter between Thanos and Strange, and I'll tell you what. I actually wrote down my favorite pieces of dialogue. So when Peter Quill runs into Tony Stark, he goes, "I'm going to ask you this one time, where's Gamora?" Tony Stark responds with, "Yeah, I'll do you one better. Who's Gamora?" Drax's response of, "I'll do you one better. Why Gamora?" Drax's
that dry humor,
oh my gosh, Dave Bautista.
But that's that character though.
I think it's Dave Bautista.
No, it's Dave Bautista, but it's the fact of what makes Drax in these scenes Drax, that he's not just a sideline character who gets totally forgotten about. Like, there were scenes where Mantis was involved that I go, oh yeah, I forgot she's on that planet too. She had to get hit by something for me to realize, oh yeah, she's still around.
Well, Mantis has been just like, even Drax disregards her.
Yeah, that's half the fun of that.
I think that's the intention of the character.
But Drax,
even like Drax standing like still, and he's just.
I was like, okay, we're going to get into my reasons why I have hatred for it. And
I'm going to get into my hatred too.
Okay,
don't worry.
I want to hear. Continue.
My second favorite exchange was between Thanos and Strange. When Thanos was explaining that he offers a solution to extinction, and even just him talking to Tony Stark right as he's beating Tony Stark. By the way, this has spoilers in it.
Oh.
Yeah, we should give that warning. This review of Between Us has spoilers. It's been a week. If you haven't seen the movie, shame on you. If I had a bell and I could follow you around, just ding, shame. Ding, shame. Look, him telling Stark, you have my respect. I hope the people of Earth will remember you. This movie should not have been called Avengers Infinity War. It should have been called Thanos Infinity War. This movie was about Thanos.
And this is going back to something I brought up last week. So since you're at a stopping point, this is where I have my hatred towards the film. This was a battle. This was Infinity battle. Not a war. They're really hyping up the war. The same thing happened with Civil War. Again, do I hate the movie? No.
Technically, if you look at the formula for on-screen war.
Yes.
Okay. You had army versus army on an open field.
Mm-hmm.
You had boss battle.
Yeah.
You had the Black Order, which, by the way, Ebony Maw, one of the greatest. I mean, I don't really know anything about the others.
Right.
Ebony Maw is really the only one, but just you have the pleasure of being killed by Thanos. Like, that was brilliant. A great way to introduce that character.
And it was great. My problem isn't with the movie itself. For the course of Marvel movies, this fits right in there. If you like the Marvel movies and you've enjoyed all of the other ones, this fits right in there. I have some individual problems with the way certain characters are portrayed. I think they layered too many characters in this for this to work in one movie.
But that's the thing. It's not going to be one movie.
It's...
Avengers 4 is going to be the follow-up.
Dealing with the fallout of what happened. We're going to get into...
And the retribution of Thanos.
We're going to get into that in a minute. All right, so on my side of some of the positives, they did a really good job of making a character that most people... I think I'm one of the only handful of like hardcore comic book geeks that has a copy of the Infinity Gauntlet on my coffee table. I casually read it. I have the entire Thanos books that they put out. I am a huge Thanos fan because at the end, it's all about perspective. They did a great job of taking a villain that is really about perspective and making people kind of starting to root for him to actually be successful at what he does.
Oh, there was no start. I looked at this film as
you and I
Thanos taking on this group of ingrates who should just move out of the way and let him do what's for the best of the universe.
For the greater good. But it was how they did it. The lead up to... We should be getting like spacklings of Thanos' process all the way for the past 10 years. We went through 10 years of a guy smiling, a guy walking up and going, sometimes you have to do it yourself, and him kind of just looking at some people going, mm-hmm. To me, it was great that he was portrayed so well. But it kind of... Thanos should get the character Thanos should get an Oscar for portraying the way he did. Brolin did a great job, but Brolin was so Thanos.
Yeah,
the manner
was perfect.
It was, even though I know it was played by a couple of other people for certain parts of it and everything else like that, but he did a great job. You should still want to see your heroes.
Do you know what I wish would have happened? I wish he would have at some point worn a white lab coat with 3 needles in it.
I was waiting for him to make a comment about Deadpool or something about only a mutant could even make a chance at stopping me. Something stupid.
Well, see, in order to do that, they'd have to acknowledge my one gripe about Thanos. Where was Lady Death? Where was there? There was no... The closest thing we got to Lady Death was the Stone Keeper.
No, the ghost of Gamora. The soul, or let's call it what it is. The soul of Gamora, which is trapped inside the Soul Stone.
Right, but the Soul Stone has its own soul universe, so that wouldn't be Lady Death.
That's what I think they're using for this.
That's stupid. Where's the skeletal woman that he's in love with? Why is that not a thing?
And this gets on to my biggest gripe about Thanos. If you read the comics, he is the Mad Titan. Yes, he does a lot of the similar things that he does in the comics, and he's highly intelligent. But the problem is they overhumanized him. And I think that's where I started losing my belief on this is supposed to be the Mad Titan, which they never called him the Mad Titan. They just kept on calling him the Titan. But there's a part to him that is not, he doesn't play around. His emotions are never put into confusion. He's not ever put in check. His build-up story, there's some emotional conflict, but...
Mom trying to kill him at birth type thing.
Yeah, that beginning. But at this point, this guy he walks onto planets going, okay, here's the lottery system. If you have blue eyes and dark skin, you live. If you don't have those things, you're all going to die. And I'm moving on to the next planet. Start murdering. It's almost methodical how he works things. So the way they portrayed him, I'm still not afraid of Thanos. Either you win the lotto or you don't win the lotto. They overhumanized him. And I think that's where you see people not complaining about Thanos. One of the greatest villains or antagonists, I would say, of the Marvel movies. But what he's done at this point, he kind of just went through by the numbers. Stone number 1, stone number 2. Got those? I can take out Hulk. Okay, next person. And he was just methodically just going, I can't be stopped. There was never a moment where you're going, he might have made a mistake.
There was at the very end.
Oh, okay. What did you see that I didn't see in the very end?
When Thor drove that axe into his chest And he said, like, initially, before he said, should have aimed for the head, you're like, wait a minute, did Thor just... Oh, okay.
He almost made a crit shot.
Yeah.
That was a more of an 18 on the big D20 of hits. That was not a perfect 20.
But my point is...
But your point is...
My entire point is you saw one glimpse in the entire film. One
time where he was actually...
You actually thought, like, oh, wait, he's about to bite it. Except for...
It's Thanos with the full gauntlet on.
Yeah, knew...
All he was waiting for was to go, oh, I've been properly threatened. I'm going to do my job. Snap! Half the world. Yeah. Half of multiple worlds.
Yeah, that
which
was half
is where
the universe.
Half the universe, and he's solved his problem.
So you want to know what the best scene I think would be possible? Let's go into the end credit scene really quick before we get in the conversation about Beta Ray Bill.
Okay.
So Nick Fury, right before he turns to ash and floats away or pixelated, I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah.
But bubbles maybe that was a theme in the film. But right before he disappears, he sends that text to what looks like Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Well, it's completely random. His snap of the fingers, half the universe, right?
Right.
So what if the first scene of Avengers 4 is a phone sitting next to nothing, and he's texted Captain Marvel, and she's not coming because she too.
She's awesome.
Here's my thing, right? How do you know she's going to survive this? I mean, granted, Nick Fury didn't know he was going to die. That's why he dropped almost
you
the
want
F-bomb.
You want the insider thing, man?
I mean, I know she's going to drop it, but
yeah. But did you see what he sent her a message on? That was your clue. It wasn't just a text. He was using a pager. This dates... I already knew the insider thing that the Captain Marvel movie is actually going to be set in like the 80s or something like that. So when I saw that he had a pager and he was sending a weird message on a rigged up pager, that let me know, okay, this is the reason why it didn't happen yet, because in her timeline she's already existed and she's hidden somewhere, but this is contacting her back in the 80s. Now, if you don't like spoilers, that's like the biggest spoiler you can possibly come up with, because I know that information ahead of time.
Here is my other problem with that.
Okay, go ahead.
Because this is a huge gripe of mine.
All right.
Thanos snaps his fingers and makes Phase 2 and 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe absolutely useless. What was the point of Phase 2 and Phase 3? Phase 1 Marvel characters, that's what you have left, and Rocket. Speaking of which, let's address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
We both lost.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that. We're
I
totally
just
going to
wanted to acknowledge it really quick. However, Phase 2 and 3, excuse me, Ant-Man, who was not present.
Ant-Man,
Ant-Man, who was not present, is now part of, is still maybe around. I mean, you didn't see if he disappeared, but let's go ahead and assume that his movie coming out means that it either took place right before.
It happened right before.
Or
it happens right before. So we don't, until we get to the end of the Ant-Man Wasp movie, we won't know how close to everything that it actually ends, or if he's in like a microcosm, microverse, and comes out
to this.
We don't know. That's where the dice are going to be.
Here's my other problem, right?
All right.
You know, Black Panther 2 is slated. It's been announced.
Oh yeah.
You know, Spider-Man 2 has been announced. So nothing sends a spoiler warning like, hey, all these characters we just killed and caused you to cry, they're still going to be alive because we're doing more movies.
Now, that's the part that I have to give, talking about like actual tears, not just nerd tears. I have to give them props for making a movie
that drove people to tears.
It drove to people having outbursts in the theater. I remember these two women that were sitting there seeing Black Panther die. I'm just going to ruin everything. Watching Black Panther die, they're like, "Oh my, I'm like, yes." I'm sitting in the back of the theater going, "That's it? That's all the people that died?" I'm up there looking at a sheet of paper going, "Well, that person didn't die. That person didn't die." It's Thanos, and I think that's where my problem. This is where my nerd tears come from. I knew the source material, like heavily bred into the source material. So I'm like, that's all.
They got off easy. That's why I thought everybody was going to die, because it's Thanos. Thanos should have killed. Although there's that one arc in the comics where he doesn't kill everyone,
right?
But people assemble and then he kills everyone. Yeah. So maybe that's what we get in the next one. Then he's going to kill everyone.
Yeah, but he's already done his in the MCU. He's done his job. He did exactly. Hey, I'm coming here to sit there and reduce the population of the entire universe.
And then he watched a sunrise on an ungrateful universe,
and was like, "Okay, I got a busted glove. I still have all the gems. I almost got taken out. Not bad day. I was challenged. I thought it was a perfect arc, but calling it Infinity War is where I start going.
There was one war scene.
There was one major. It was a battle. It was like an Infinity battle. I think it should have just been Thanos, Avengers, the Infinity Stones, or something else, because it wasn't a war. I wasn't invested.
Should have been Thanos, Rise of the Golden Knight.
Anything.
Rise of the Dark Knight, Rise of the Purple Knight. I don't care what you call him. The Mad Titan.
Yeah.
But it was a movie about Thanos.
It was a movie, and that's where I go, if we're going to have
my favorite
mega movies
at the end of that film
hit me
was when Peter Parker was apologizing to Iron Man for dying.
Yeah.
And that girl sitting directly diagonal from us was bawling her eyes out on her man.
And to me,
it was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Laughing at someone else's tears is always fun, but it was good to see that emotions were finally driven out. I mean, if we're talking about movies, the last movie that you saw in a theater that actually drove people to real emotions, I can say we were probably in the same theater, at least in the same cinema, was Grindhouse. People were hooting and yelling and clapping and happy for the screen. I'm not talking about this. Deadpool had some
but it had more laughter than anything. And then Star Wars: The Force Awakens had people cheering at the opening credits.
Yeah,
but and then I saw the emotion for everybody else leaving the same theater I was, and everybody had the same somber, mad look I did.
And see, that's what I'm talking about as far as a movie as a general. We, in all honesty, cannot complain about the movie for one reason. It made people it did its job. It had the escapism. It told a story, and people got emotionally invested in the story. Our heroes is where we start dropping the ball.
I've got that, and that segues me to my real complaint about the film.
Star-Lord was totally pointless.
Well, Star-Lord had become he got his manhood chopped off. He was definitely
that was the
non-aggressive
worst
alpha male.
Coming from the last two Guardians movies, and then you get this version of Star-Lord, it seemed like he phoned it in. And I like Chris Pratt, and I go, he's
I think
Star-Lord.
He just was overshadowed. There's Chris Pratt's a good actor, but is he Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans? You also have to look at the intimidating hero qualities of Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, Doctor Strange versus I'm a half-human guy who shoots guns. He's basically Hawkeye.
Yeah, but he's, demigod. He
was. I think his power left when his father died.
No, that gets, again, back to comics. But I think, all right.
If you had never seen anything else, if I was somebody who had just woken up from a coma, and
then this movie would make absolutely no sense to you.
Exactly.
That's the only
problem.
This
movie cannot stand on its own. The rest of the cinematic universe, Black Panther, that movie can stand on its own.
Yeah.
Captain America can stand on its own. Iron Man, of course, it stood on its own. It started the whole thing. Spider-Man Homecoming.
See, that's where I want to throw back at you on the nerd tier side of things. This movie is exactly what it's supposed to be. If you
sequel.
No. This isn't. I don't even consider this as a sequel. This is a major event movie. The same way in comic books, if for all our comic book people, Marvel has Secret Wars, DC has Crisis, insert Crisis, whatever the name is, Infinite Earths, whatever the case may be. This was an event movie, and that's why I've really not been claiming as this is the greatest Marvel movie of all times. No, this is the greatest event movie, because without having the background of who these characters are, what they're doing, there's no time to introduce anybody, because they were only introducing one character, which if they go with this as far as a formula, I think you can introduce other villains. Problem is, you've killed off or pseudo-killed off, because Red Skull somehow is surviving. A ghost locked in.
He's a Stonekeeper.
A Stonekeeper. But, which was my all-time favorite cameo in this entire movie.
You know what, though? I'm going to give it up to DC for a second. This movie made me appreciate something DC did.
Are you seriously okay?
Yeah. This movie made me appreciate something DC did. At the end of Batman v Superman, Superman was dead.
Okay.
Okay? When they were coming out with Justice League and any other sequel announced, you had no idea if Superman was coming back. You kind of knew, but they didn't give it away.
Yeah.
They should have never announced any more sequels past this.
Yeah.
It should have been movie A, like to be determined after this. right? Because at that point, I already know they're going to do something.
Yes.
Nebula's going to get that gauntlet like in the stupid comic, and she's going to undo everything Thanos did. Because that's a thing in the comics. Anybody expecting...
Yeah, there was a version of it that went that way. I'm expecting someone else.
Or Thor, or Captain Marvel, or Adam Warlock. Somebody's going to undo everything. Or maybe it's Doctor... No, he's dead. Doctor Strange.
Is Doctor Strange really dead?
He did what everybody else did.
He just did. But he also went through what I forgot how many different variants, 1,000+ variants.
Right? No, I definitely believe that
he knew
what was going to happen. He knew he was going to sacrifice himself, and this was going to be the only way to stop Thanos.
And he has a plan for it.
Yeah.
If they follow, that was my other biggest complaint. Strange, it's Doctor Strange. He's the highest mystic in the world.
Why didn't you do the same thing he did with the Mamoru?
That's where I'm questioning on where they're going with this. There is more story, especially with Strange, because that ended with a very much... Strange was way too calm of like, oh,
I'm going to die now.
I'm going to die now. I already knew this. And he has a plan. He went through, he's like, there's only one way that this can win. And he made sure that everything fell into place to make sure that happened. So he knew he had to die and a couple other people had to die, but they'll motivate somebody to yada yada. I get it.
Well, nothing drives it. Nothing brings the Avengers together like a death of a teammate. This is different because now Cap has just lost Bucky, right? Just watched Bucky die in front of his eyes. The pseudo father figure Tony Stark just lost his baby boy Peter Parker.
Right.
Rocket just lost Groot again.
Yeah.
And then when he finds out Quill and Drax and Mantis are dead, he's gonna lose his crap.
Right. And then you have
Hulk's too afraid to come out. I'm not sure what's going on there.
That's almost for me. That's like a Geek Out show type of thing because I'm going to just go off on what are they doing with one of their biggest hitters.
But maybe that's the thing. It may be. What was the? It's not Omega Hulk. What was the?
What, Red Hulk, Gray Hulk, Mr. Fix-It?
No, the Hulk where. Oh my gosh, hold on.
I can go through a long list.
Not World Ender Hulk.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's a point where Hulk does retreat and then come out twice as strong as he did before.
Yes, but
a World Breaker
Hulk, yeah.
I was trying to remember because there are so many versions of the Hulk.
Omega
Hulk.
Like
Ragnarok, we got to introduce to World War Hulk.
Yeah.
Or Planet Hulk.
Planet Hulk, yeah.
Which was great. But see, my problem is Hulk gets hit and he gets madder.
Yeah, and this version of the Hulk, they tried to use that as a way of showing how strong Thanos is, and I thought that was a weak way of doing it. I liked the first Loki kill.
I was half expecting to come back.
I was not. I was expecting that this was not going to be a trick. Thanos is like, no, you're like I even talked about. You're gonna have to get a kill straight off the grip,
and he did.
Not a kill.
Heimdall
that was
first, though. That was kind of sad.
I thought that Heimdall still did his job all the way up until his last breath.
Yeah,
he was like, Hulk,
send you to Earth,
send you to Earth.
But nothing motivates Thor like the death of his people.
Oh, now the Ragnarok to this movie is such a wow. That had to hurt.
That's why he said the line to Rocket, like, if this doesn't work, what more do I have to lose? And now Thor's made him bleed once. And as he said, he's 1,500 years old. He's killed twice as many people. All people who wanted him dead.
Yeah.
And Thanos would be just... And like, I think that was a foreshadowing. If it's Captain Marvel's going to wound him, but Thor's going to be the one to get the retribution. It may be the last thing Thor ever does. Because I don't think Helmsworth is reprising the role again.
I don't think so. But see, that's where we get into... There is some mystery left behind this movie. We don't know whose contract is truly over, except for...
Juniors and Evans.
Yeah.
RDJ and Evans.
RDJ's already said he's technically retired. So either they've already got done
shooting. They already shot Avengers 4.
Okay.
It's already done.
It's in the can.
They shot multiple scenes for each possible ending. Nobody, including the people that work there.
Oh, we're going back to the Spielberg level.
No, but that's what they did with this movie. Nobody knew the version that was going to be released.
Oh.
Which is phenomenal because that really stops any kind of spoilers from coming out.
It stops spoilers, but I'm still dealing with... You've drove your audience, your movie-going audience, who have no idea what's going on as far as the core material, to this point. If what you have next doesn't top
I'm gonna get my wish.
The death of comic book movies. Well, at least on the Marvel side.
DC's gonna see a golden opportunity and smell blood.
DC is putting their hand. I think it's not even just DC. It's all comic book companies. Well, not all. Technically, almost all are all going for some different things. One of the things I totally forgot to talk about this week is the Cloak and Dagger little sneak preview came out this week. Okay. So Marvel's dipping there. DC is dipping into a couple of different things.
They've got their own
their own program. Yeah, they're pushing for that next. So we're gonna see exactly what happens. I don't think it's gonna be big screen for DC at all.
I only want to see one or two more comic book movies in theaters.
The Return of Hellboy.
No.
What?
I'm good with Ron Perlman. I'm good there.
I want to see where they're gonna go with it.
Maybe, but I'm good where I'm at with him.
Which one?
I want to see The Darkness or Witchblade or both.
Ooh.
In that,
we're getting into that.
Do Firstborn. Like kick it off with do it like you could literally have a trilogy right there. You do Darkness, Witchblade, Firstborn. Bam.
You got a lot of stuff and a lot of other characters. Magdalena showing up out of nowhere.
Right, there's a whole series there.
Yeah, I know. I love that
you
series.
could do, but I
Top Cow killed that series.
It was phenomenal.
That was one of the best.
Of course, Spawn. Michael Jai White did great, but you can find other actors to do it.
I think Michael Jai White could still come back and do it.
I'm sure he can. He's still Michael Jai White.
Yeah.
He ain't old.
He ain't old, and he's still Black Dynamite.
Yeah. No, he's the Outlaw Johnny Black.
I forgot. Oh, Outlaw Johnny Black. We have to let some things rest.
Now, but there's also, my big disappointment in Star Wars could have easily turned into the greatest comic book run Star Wars ever had, Legacy.
Yeah, but this
seeing the death stick addicted Cade Skywalker, take the path of the drug addicted Luke.
It could work, but here's my problem with all these comic book movies. As much as I love them and huge comic book fan that I am, how long can we keep on doing this? Are we going to run? Is Disney going to do the same thing they're doing in Star Wars to the Marvel movies? Are we going to start pushing out just stuff just to have stuff out there? Or are we going to actually make quality products? So far, we've had three back-to-back quality projects. I'm not saying that some of the other projects were not quality.
They have knocked it out of the park every time. Even if we've not enjoyed it as comic book fans, the average audience is enjoying it. It's the same thing. The only ones that they're really losing on is Star Wars, because the people that drive Star Wars is not the average moviegoer.
No.
The people that drive Star Wars is the foaming at the mouth, rabid fan base.
Yes.
And they're stopping foaming now. They're just kind of like...
Yes, that's where the nerd tiers start to build up. I can have an ocean now just based off of those nerd tiers alone.
Star Wars sucks.
I'm not willing to say that yet. It hurts me to say that with all my little Star Wars figurines on the table and everything. I know. I can't say it yet.
Look, the worst thing to ever happen to my favorite thing that's about to be on the table here is going to come out, even though I love the actor who's going to play him. It looks like it's officially happening with that Crow remake. And I am not excited. But look, we've gone off topic here.
All right.
The point is, with Marvel's Infinity War, this Avengers Infinity War movie, if you were an average moviegoer, you probably loved it. In fact, I watched a theater full of people love it.
They loved it. They were emotionally involved. And to me, that's what we need in movies
As
nowadays.
a movie, it was good. As a film, it was good. As a movie about Thanos, if I take it on subject matter alone, it was crap. Because it did not, there was no, his entire reason, his motivations were skewed. It was more Doctor Doom than it was Thanos.
True.
For the greater good is a very Doctor Doom thing.
Yes.
Thanos is just trying to impress Lady Death, who would rather bang Deadpool.
There is more to
Thanos than that.
But based off of just the movie, using movie canon as what it is, I wasn't impressed. And I think that's where I'm going. How
Beating
are you
up
going to
superheroes, killing Loki, and the most impressive character was Ebony Maw, and he went out in the best way I could think of.
Yeah,
because they couldn't beat him in hand to hand, and they knew it. So they're like, Peter Parker's line? Have you ever seen that old movie Aliens? Like,
and that one actually caught me off guard. It was
I didn't expect them to end.
It added in that character though.
But let me ask you about the rest of the Black Order. Did you care about any of the others in the film?
I was starting not to care about some of the members of the Avengers.
Well, yeah. All I cared about really was Thanos. Thanos and Gamora. That was the story I cared about for a brief moment.
For a brief moment.
I cared about Thor to a point till then I only cared about Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, and that kind of throws you off there. You're like
I was like, yeah,
he's
Tyrion.
playing a giant.
Tyrion giant. Yeah, that's great. But I kind of cared about Steve Rogers. I didn't like his weird fist punching shields.
I thought that was an interesting way to get the shields back. Get that man a shield. And he gets these shield gauntlets.
I felt terrible for the people of Wakanda. Because they were so overshadowed in this. Like, it had nothing to do with, like, this effect on Wakanda. And that's
where I'm going to bring up one of my questions in the entire movie. There are some characters, we know that some major characters disappeared into the nothingness. There's a lot of characters in Wakanda that you're still going, a building blew up, and then we don't know exactly what the heck happened. So,
but you know who is?
His sister. I'm waiting to see, did she make it out of the building okay? Is she dead? Did she turn to ash? Because
the ape, what?
Oh, the tribe. That tribe.
He lived.
He lived, but who else lived in Wakanda? A lot of people.
Michonne.
Well, of course, Michonne.
Michonne lived.
Michonne. I wish I actually knew her character's name in Black Panther.
I only know her as Michonne, and I like she does great. I can't say anything negative about it. She's doing. I just wish I knew her as something other than that stupid Walking Dead show.
Oh, we can still get into that one day. But the concept is they did a really good job, but they didn't have the fallout done properly. I think they ended it on a note of, look at all the destruction that we've had. Look how many people have died. And
I think that was the point, though. Cliffhanger ending.
I don't mind the cliffhanger. And this was one of my other comments that I had written down was, it's so weird to watch so many people being upset about, oh, I can't believe what they did. I can't understand how they did this. I'm like, okay.
We've been spoon-fed films without cliffhanger endings.
Cliffhangers or tragedies. I think that's where my big problem is. I'm watching this going, finally, we get a tragedy for an American film. We haven't had a good tragedy.
I didn't count that as a tragedy. The hero won.
Perspective.
Exactly.
But that's where, as far as the movie-going audience, we needed a movie where things don't go the way you expect them to. People do die, and I think that's where
people nowadays think that they can control the narrative of a show by saying, "Oh, if this person dies, we riot." And The Walking Dead trained them on that.
Oh, so that's where we're going to get into this whole Walking Dead thing, huh?
That's the reason I hate The Walking Dead. Characters that should have lived, that should have lived longer, could not because of the dynamic between Daryl and Rick. And Daryl, who doesn't quite actually exist, was the fan favorite.
He doesn't exist. He was made for the show.
He was the fan favorite, and they're like, oh, if Daryl dies, we riot. And the studio was too afraid to kill him off, thinking they would lose fan base, so they killed off Tyree.
Yeah, but right now they're dealing with so much other silliness.
I don't even care what they're dealing with.
I actually have love for the fact that if you are an avid comic book reader of The Walking Dead, you're going to walk through that show going, well, I know what's going to happen. I'm just seeing the live action. Okay, that's totally different. Oh, okay, that's different. Who is this guy? Okay, they mix it. And it throws you off. You get a chance to be involved in the universe, but at the same time, you don't know what's going to happen. And I like that. That's the reason why I kind of go, I'll accept some of these MCU changes of certain characters and certain things.
Well, if you told the same story verbatim, it would be stupid.
But there's some things I want to see live action.
There's things that make Thanos a really interesting person. And one of those things is Lady Death.
You really have the whole thing for Lady
Death. To me, and but you can't explain that without explaining Deadpool. And Marvel doesn't own the rights to Deadpool.
There's way more to. I'm gonna have to pass you.
No, if you, I'm talking the
surface level,
romance triangle where Thanos is obsessed with Lady Death. Lady Death basically doesn't care about Thanos, and all she wants to do is bang Deadpool.
And that's where I go, there's more to it than that. That's beyond the Deadpool thing. But let's finish up, because I can get into this for like hours with you on that one. Do you think they can do it? Do you think they are actually going to be able to pull off Avengers 4? Do you think this is going to all
because they already filmed it? Yes.
Do you think they're going to be able to follow through after that?
No.
Why?
What more can you do for the average moviegoer? You can appeal to comic book fans by introducing more characters, doing more things, changing up the Avengers to the new Avengers, eventually bringing in the X-Men because you own the rights now. That's going to be the saving grace, is bringing in. But let me ask you a question. being as the first run of the X-Men had one standout character. In the comic books of the X-Men, there was one standout popular character. And the actor who portrayed that character no longer wants to play that character. Who can you see now? If Disney were to cast Wolverine tomorrow, who could do it besides Hugh Jackman?
They would go with X-23.
If they were going to cast Wolverine right now,
they would. She up until like about a month from now, she is still with the mantle of the Wolverine. They can go further with her.
They can do the Logan. They can tie in the Logan story that Fox did, but they won't. They're Disney. They'll reboot it.
They'll reboot it, but instead of going with the trying to do that version,
they're not going to appeal to the same fan base.
Whoa. Not really.
One of the best-selling comic book characters, period, has not been X-23.
No,
it has been Logan, Weapon X, Wolverine.
Right, but see, with the current run of the way things are right now, you're seeing a lot of female characters coming into certain arenas where that character was cast.
I don't disagree with that.
So they may actually look at X-23, and she's gained quite a lot of ground ever since the Old Man Logan movie.
And I'm not going to disagree with that, but you don't look a cash horse in the mouth.
Oh, no, they're not going to, but they'll just recast the whole thing and move on from there.
I understand. They'll probably have X-23 involved. I can guarantee it. But if you want to make the money, you're going to have to cast Wolverine.
And I'm not even looking at the X-Men. I'm looking at something a little bit bigger.
Fantastic Four, X-Force.
Yeah. Fantastic Four. See, that makes it a global event, especially if you get to a certain point.
Doing Fantastic Four, realistically, if I were to have just made this movie, that end credit scene would have not been Nick Fury. To me, it would have flashed over to the Baxter Building and have
like Johnny
Reed Richards just staring out, going, "What's all this?" Thinking, and then saying something about call Latvia. Thinking that Doom did it.
Yeah. And at that point...
Or have Doom show up at the end of it and be like, I'm here to stop Thanos.
That's the way... I would have been okay with that, but I'm also a huge Doom head. So...
And if anybody can do it,
he's already Doom. And that's what I think is missing from
oh my God,
the MCU
do you know what
movies.
The possibilities are? We could see a team-up movie of Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom.
Yep.
That was a great comic run.
Yeah. Yeah. Going straight to hell to save his mom. And having to deal with Mephisto. Which they would be able to branch over in some form or way of Midnight Suns. I could do this, trust me.
Oh no, this is a whole episode of the Geek Out. Right here.
I know, but I don't think that we have the longevity after we finish this story.
No, I think the Avengers are gone. I think doing more Avengers movies, you need to bring that back around in 10 years. If you want to do it, do more Marvel characters. Do a Captain Marvel run.
Yeah.
Redo the X-Men if that's what you want to do. Redo Fantastic Four
the right way.
Bring in Deadpool's already doing X-Force, which is
and that is what that to me is a good compromise. That's a good amalgamation of here's your own comic book story, but we're going to keep something so close to the source material that you really can't complain about it, but we're making some changes. I'm okay with that. But some of this stuff that's going on
but there's also, because there are bigger, badder things than Thanos out there. You have the Living Tribunal.
Yeah, but at this point, we just got through Thanos. There has to be a fallout. And I think the fallout should continue on.
Past. Do the one thing they did, and the thing I appreciated about Daredevil, right?
Daredevil
the show.
Oh, the show. Okay.
They talked about New York and the travesties that happened, and they're still rebuilding, and you got that in the Netflix series. Now I'm curious as to what happens at the, with the next Netflix series that come out. Do they mention
they're gonna?
Are they gonna come back out? Did any of those people disappear?
Is Danny Rand just going to be like, okay, so this is how we're going to explain Danny Rand not existing anymore. He just turned to dust. No, he's already in the new Luke Cage. So all this is going to be happening before the Avengers.
But see, this is my problem. You have so much, and if they don't explain it, if some of those characters never did, just keep coming back, then Thanos is terrible at wiping out the important half of the universe. He's just like, okay, defenseless people, bye.
No, like I said, it's a lottery. It's 100% lottery.
Okay, but how? Okay, so if you are a part of the actual core Avengers, if you are actually a part of the Defenders, you get to live.
Oh, that sounds like
X-Force. We're not even going to mess with them.
Because he exists in another world over there. No, I don't see. I want to see how they're going to handle this. I want to see how, even though I can't stand watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
I'm actually going... Dawson dies.
That would be an interesting...
Not the actress. I wish no ill on the actress. I think Rosario Dawson is a very talented woman. But the character she plays, I don't remember her name. But
the makeshift night nurse is what she has actually become.
The tie-in to all of them.
That would be a funny way of just removing her character.
Yeah.
At least for 2 seasons. Or 2 different shows.
Yeah, she just... Daredevil's got shot. He's being patched up. She just disappears. He's like...
What happened?
Because he's blind. It's not like he's going to know.
You seem a lot lighter, like dust on the floor all of a sudden. What's wrong with you? And she doesn't respond.
But or could you imagine the scene where Daredevil is talking to his lawyer buddy, and he just disappears?
They should have it affect everything in Marvel.
Yeah,
the same way they do with all the major event movies.
Scenes.
And that's why I said this isn't really a movie. This is an event. This is your major event. After so many comics, you're getting a big event. Everybody shows up. I think this needs to be done the same way. Now, are we going to, in 2020, go see Avengers 4?
2019.
2020, I thought.
2019, May 2019.
Is they're doing it in 2019?
Next year.
Okay. You game?
Are we going to? Yeah, I'll do it, man. Why not?
You've already started down this road?
I mean, I've already done it. Let's do this. I'm already here.
There you go. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, we're going to do that. What we are going to do in 2020, though.
Oh, what are we watching?
Or no, wait, we've got to wait 10 years. So 2028.
Okay.
We're going to come back and revisit it and see the Skrull event, which actually would be a really interesting film, I think.
I don't think they could pull it off.
You don't think that they could just do a cross Marvel? If they've built it enough, they could do a cross Marvel universe. Everybody's secretly a Skrull.
They would have to play this off down to the very last second that you start seeing that people are actually Skrulls.
Or you could do a Walking Dead crossover, Marvel Zombies.
I don't want to see that. I would avoid that one.
Well, you have to have
I would
Howard
see it on
the Duck
Netflix.
First.
I would watch it on Netflix.
You'd have to have Howard the Duck first.
I could see that. There is talk. There's
a
lot of
get one. He's dead.
Yeah. Well, no, he's not.
If he was on the Collector's Planet, he's dead.
I did see a big piece of fried chicken or fried duck there.
Yeah, if he's on the Collector's Planet, he's
dead. Well, maybe he left. Right.
Yeah.
So either way, this one was a good one. All right. You want to grade your movie? What are you going to give it?
2 different scales. I'm going to give it 2 different categories. As a Marvel fan, as a fan of the comic series, as a fan of Thanos, I'm going to give it a 2.
2 out of 5?
2 out of 5. Wow. I was not impressed with Thanos.
Impress me.
I was not impressed with just the portrayal of Thanos. I was not impressed with the ensemble of the Avengers. I was not impressed with the realism of the story.
And you were the one coming in more positive.
Yeah.
Okay, this is sad.
Well, I had positive things to say, which is not what was happening on Thursday.
Okay.
As a moviegoer, as a film critic, if I look at this from the perspective of a film critic,
okay,
the story was a little weak.
Mm-hmm.
For everybody but Thanos. The main plot, the main story was spot on.
Mm-hmm.
You told the story of how a man achieved his goals.
Yeah.
It was a heroic tale. Perspective,
He woke up and did his job. I'm okay with that.
It pulled an emotion out of the audience. It told a captivating tale for the average moviegoer. It did its job, so it gets a 4 out of 5.
Wow. I'm going to combine all the nerd tears and my critic side and put it all in one and make up a nice little Kool-Aid. I'm going to give this one a 3, a solid 3.
Wow, yeah, I gave it something a better rating than you.
I enjoy the film aspect of it. I'm not going to count this as the same way I feel about Star Wars. I'm not giving my full grades until you give me the full project. Turn in your entire project, and then I will give my final vote on it.
I don't know that I have that kind of patience.
I got a whole bunch of other movies to watch in between now and your finished product. Give me Avengers 4, and I'll say, will I raise my score up to like a 3.5? It's where it should be. The reason why I got knocked down to a 3 is the geek side of me is saying, nah, man.
Well, see, if I were to fuse both of my answers together to get a 3.
Yeah, and so that's where I'm putting it at. It's a 3. It was entertaining. I'm glad that people are involved in the movie. It's starting debates that aren't starting wars online. And to me, I'm okay with it.
To quote Adam,
Hmm.
um,
Yield, Adam.
if you are a studio thinking of doing a movie universe, Marvel just set the bar too high.
Don't
Quit
try.
right now.
Don't try.
Don't do it. Go away. Just stop. Pick something else.
I think
This is Marvel's realm.
this is Marvel's realm for right now, and I think with what they've done, and I don't see that happen very often. They took a grouping of actors, slowly adding them in, but they kept these same actors playing these same roles and not much else for 10 plus years. We have 7 years of just Thanos existing. Yes, I looked up to see exactly up to the moment of how many years of actual Thanos lore there was, but I think they did a great job. Can they continue on repeating it without becoming stagnant? We will wait and see. But I'm not counting this movie as a complete piece. This is part 1. Give me a part 2 that's actually going to amaze me. And then I'll grade it as an entire project. But that is it for tonight, because we've already talked about what we're going to be doing for the next episode, which is we're going to be talking about trailers. So oh, wait a minute. Before I end the show, I just remembered something. We lost a bet.
We did. We lost a bet.
Can't
we
leave
lost
the show
Deadpool.
without talking about our Deadpool.
We both. I picked the wrong deaths. Literally, most of the people I said was going to live are the people that died.
And I'm
literally eating my own hat right now, and
I got 2 wrong.
Yeah, he got 2 wrong because 2 of his lived. So we got robbed. However, our audience here gets to choose a film that we watch and review. It can be anything. It could be something we're both going to hate. Make it a punishment. Make it not something we're going to enjoy. Like, don't tweet me and say, you guys are going to review the 1931 Frankenstein. I'm going to get excited. And I'm going to watch it again for the 5 millionth time.
I'm not going to give me any black and white film. I'm already down.
Yeah, so make it something stupid that we're both going to hate.
That's good luck trying to find something I'll actually hate. That's what I'm saying. Hey, bring it on. But right now we're going to
make the movie so bad that Alex goes, I can't. Pick a Disney film.
There you go.
Alex will hate it.
But see, you have to forget, I also own a copy of Black Sheep, and I'm not talking about the Chris Farley movie.
No, I love that film.
But
Zombie Sheep, phenomenal.
Yeah, but most people were like, "Oh, I never watched that film." I love that film. The whole project was amazing. So find a film.
Pick something, and we're gonna basically tweet at us, put it on the Facebook. It doesn't matter what it is.
Just find a way of contacting us. And
you know what my one fear is, though? Your mother's going to be the only one to pick a film.
Oh.
And she's going to find something because she knows you so well.
Yeah.
That she knows you're going to dislike.
My mom also knows that I like film, and I'll sit down through almost anything. I took my parents to go see this claymation version of, oh gosh, what was it? My father fell asleep during the movie. It was a Mark Twain entire story. It was all done in claymation because I love the concept of claymation and stop motion animation.
I did too until Wallace and Gromit.
I still can dig on that. And yeah, that is the one of those films where you go, that's obscure. So I love obscure films. So whatever my mom brings up, she wants to have us watch.
I definitely want you guys to tweet at us.
Tweet at us.
Real Pundit, at
ANA Real Pundit.
Go on the Real Pundits film talk. Go on the Real Pundits. Email us. You'll find our emails on our website at www.realpundits.com.
Hit it up.
TheRealPundits.com, excuse me.
Yep. And just hit us up and we'll find out something to watch. But we've already given our thing for next week. We're going to be talking about some of the greatest, worst trailers, or we're going to probably figure out what is the best trailer of all time, which is going to be a fight to have because I know there's some of my trailers are going to be either really old, silent film type.
Most of mine are going to be old.
Okay.
Because
there has to be something current that you think is a good trailer.
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Fury Road was a good trailer.
No. Showed too much.
I
don't count anything longer than 30 seconds is not a trailer.
I'm going to go into that whole Mad Max Blit Verb thing where you only get 3 seconds of everything you need to know. You remember Mad Max?
Yeah.
Not Mad Max, but Max Headroom. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some craziness.
No, we give too much away in trailers, and that's my problem. Anyways, we'll save that for next.
We'll save that for the next one. Let's end the show
on something positive-ish.
Oh, you have something positive-ish? Is
something
it positive or is it not?
I want you guys to find something amazing. I want you to go to your local, I don't know if there's even movie stores for brick and mortar. Go on Amazon, look up indie films. Go to horror films. Go to any kind of indie film. Find something. Support your local. Support an indie guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just go find an independent film and support them. These people are doing low budget films. These people are not getting the exposure they need because they don't have the Hollywood studio system backing them. And this isn't the 90s where the Hollywood is looking for the next indie film guy to be the next big thing. Go find one and support him, man. Go watch. Go to there's got to be, it's indie film festival season coming up. So there's got to be something somewhere. Go find something indie and watch it.
That's yours. Mine is going to be for another one of our listeners that just recently got the Miyazaki, the Studio Ghibli box. Watch a Studio Ghibli movie. There's talking about movies that bring
my
out
recommendation in Studio Ghibli. If you are new to Studio Ghibli and you've never watched anything done, and you're barely into anime or kind of into anime but never watched, I don't know how you're into anime and never watched Studio Ghibli, but if you are mildly into anime and you just want a cool concept film, watch Spirited Away.
Oh, that is, to me, one of the best ones. Wow, that is an emotional movie.
If you want something action-packed, Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
If you want something super cute, My Neighbor Totoro.
Kiki's Delivery Service.
I thought Totoro was way better, man.
Oh, I see a future.
I have a guest for us too.
You have somebody who's knowledgeable on Studio Ghibli.
Yeah.
Okay, then we can do this.
My wife.
Oh, we're bringing it in.
She's got the tattoos of Totoro and stuff. Like
okay.
Our whole house is covered in Ghibli stuff.
All right then.
It's Frankenstein and Ghibli in our house.
What a concept. But no, I think today is one of the come down from today. After seeing this, I want to see something I thoroughly enjoy. So I'm going to be watching Spirited Away probably as soon as we get done with this.
I'll probably go home and watch it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things of that's how movies are done to me.
Animated, at least.
Animated movies. But that's my recommendation. Other than that, go out, watch a movie. Go see, now that we've totally spoiled the movie for you.
We actually haven't. We only covered a few people that died.
We went through it. We got it wrong. And you basically said.
All my choice. But, I mean, it doesn't give away too many plot points. Like,
we talked about,
I didn't talk about how Thor took an awakening dying star to the face.
We're not going to, that was, again, watch the movie and watch the pacing just drop right there. That
whole thing threw me off.
That was bathroom break time.
It was weird too because it's the thing that I honestly care the most about. Like, is he going to get the weapon to take down Thanos? Then he starts on the journey and he took Rocket and Groot with him, and you're like,
that should have me writing it. I would have switched that around. I had Rocket and Groot going down to the planet to go get into the real fight.
It would have been Quill with him,
which would have made would have made sense.
Or Drax, just Drax.
Well, that would have been hilarious. But just even Drax and Quill on that mission with Thor would have made more sense. And then him finding out that Gamora was dead.
I do want to ask one. What do you think about Nebula in pieces?
I thought that was an amazing scene. I thought they did a really good job.
Just spinning in the air into pieces.
They took a comic book panel and made it in real life. So I was actually impressed on seeing how they did it. Because in comic books, you kind of get the idea that he was dissecting her through her own pieces.
Except it was Ebony Maw that had her strung up, wasn't it?
Yeah. But I was impressed by it. I thought they did as far as every time they go through and make an Avengers movie, they always had that's a comic book panel. I know that panel. I own that comic.
You know the one thing we didn't get in Infinity War? The iconic group shot.
No, but you got some of the other comic shots. And they put their own spin on it, and I liked how they did the almost kills of a couple of people.
I like how they did the almost got the glove. That's the other thing. Peter Quill.
That's why I
almost got the glove.
My issues with Quill,
and you get
it's because
mad.
he was stupid. And no, During that time, you're telling me Tony couldn't just blast that guy halfway across the
Like, stop.
Or Spider-Man couldn't like just web him real quick, or Thanos couldn't have been like, y'all stupid, and have somebody cut his arm off. Anything. Try something else other than letting.
Well, Thanos was like in a trance because of Mantis.
Yeah, but he was starting to come back.
I know, it's so sad.
And I was impressed they used Mantis. They gave that character purpose.
Yeah,
they've been.
She has one. She does one thing: sleep, awake, trance, emotion. This is why you're laughing.
Yes.
Or this is your deepest secret. Like, those are good things.
And they made a pointless character worthy.
Yeah.
So I think everybody needs to stay in their own yard. I think mixing the Guardians in there did nothing for.
No, it made the Guardians look weak. Except for Groot. I do love.
Groot.
No, Rocket. I mean, I do love that exchange between Bucky and Rocket.
Yeah.
How much for the gun? Not for sale. How much for the arm? Walks away. I'm gonna get that arm. It's a throwback to
his original way. He's still the same character. They did a really good job on getting some really great lines. I'm not hating on this movie. I just think.
I think if you're gonna have a crossover film, it should just be Thor going back and forth.
Right. Dealing with the Guardians, dealing with the galactic side of things, dealing with the Earth, and have that going on. I'd have probably not have been so thrown off by it. Plus, where's the Nova Corps? The entire thing.
They're dead.
Not all of them.
No, but they attack Xandar.
Yeah, and that place is
destroyed. Yeah,
but I'm looking for Nova to show up.
Yeah, but
we need somebody as a powerhouse, and not Captain Marvel.
Well, you're gonna get one. He was born at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Oh boy, we're still going for the Adam Warlock thing. I don't think it's gonna happen.
You think that was just a pointless?
Yes.
God, I'll be mad because that's the one person that can actually take Thanos without.
You have to explain him.
Although, do you know who I would have loved to have seen? Star Fox.
That could work also.
You couldn't do it in this day and age.
No. But on that note, before we juggle on in even more time, because we could go on all night long with this one. Hey guys, it's been fun. Thanks for listening. Go on iTunes. Give us a rating. The first person to give us a rating will be so happy to actually have somebody give us at least 1 star and complain about us.
We'll give a shout out.
Well, yeah,
I'll read your comment right here. No matter how negative it is, it could be Brandon is a jerk. He's stupid. Alex should do a show without him. I'll read it right here.
It could be the other way around. That guy's way too soft on movies. He likes everything. I don't care what it is. Give us at least a star and complain about us. We want the input because right now we're going back to our original format of things. We tried a couple of different things out through the first 10, getting our feet wet, and we figured out what we're going to do.
We're just going to be chaotic.
Yeah, back to the chaos. We love that stuff. But either way...
It's fun for us. It was fun for you. You know it.
Yep. Enjoy, and we'll see you guys next week when we talk about trailers.
Yes.
Which we'll probably give a trailer for that. That'd be fun.